In December 1688, students from the University of Edinburgh, they took to the streets and rioted after news broke that a student from a working class Scottish background had been mistakenly enrolled into the university. They were joined by hardline Presbyterians from the southwest of Scotland who came into the city to let the authorities know that they did not like Catholics one bit. As is often the case with rioters in the capital, this riot occurred at the behest of an Orange man, in this case, a man called William of Orange. William of Orange was the self-proclaimed protector of Protestantism in Europe, this incredibly impressive man who was able to protect the Netherlands from the might of the Catholic Louis XIV of France. I mean, William, he certainly was an impressive guy, because it's not everyone that can pull off Orange. I mean, that old horse lady who tugged off Prince Harry behind a pub, she definitely pulled off Orange. Scotland, England and Ireland had, since 1685, had a Catholic monarch, King James VII of Scotland and James II of England and Ireland. James, he had placed Catholics into high, prominent positions within the government, and this angered English parliamentarians who felt that those positions of government should be exclusively reserved for people who went to Eton. When Queen Mary of Modena gave birth to a Catholic male heir, James Francis Edward Stuart, in June 1688, the English parliamentarians now faced the prospect of a continuing Catholic succession through James Jr. And so they invited William, who was married to James's eldest daughter Mary, to come over from the Netherlands and usurp his father-in-law's throne. It'll be like when Meghan Markle inevitably attempts to become Queen of England. William landed at Torbay in southwest England in November 1688, but this was not an invasion. William, he was simply here to help. The fact that he had 14,000 men with him, that wasn't an invasion force, that was just William's personal bodyguard. He was like the kind of Tommy Robinson of the 17th century. He required 14,000 men around him for his own personal protection. James, he had amassed an army of 25,000 to repel William's invasion, but his army turned out to have the loyalty of your average £130 million Swedish striker. And as his army slowly disbanded, James would eventually flee to France, and William would usurp his father-in-law's throne and rule alongside his wife Mary as the kind of Beyonce and Jay-Z of 17th century British constitutional history. William's intervention in British and Irish politics would become known as the Glorious Revolution on account of its supposed bloodlessness. But William's intervention was anything but bloodless in Scotland and Ireland. Here, it would have a huge impact on society and the gable ends of houses in Scotland and Ireland for centuries to come. The riots that occurred in Edinburgh on the 9th of December 1688 happened on the very same day that James had first attempted to flee to France. The rioters came barrelling down the Canongate, burning effigies of the Pope and breaking into Holyrood Abbey, where they destroyed the Chapel Royal, the printing press, the Jesuit school, records which had been kept in the Abbey since the 12th century, along with countless artefacts. Basically, they did more damage to an old building in Scotland than your average middle-class couple on a grand designs project. Most shocking of all, the rioters, they desecrated the Stuart tombs, proving to be more disrespectful to dead royals than your average Celtic supporter after the Queen's death. In May 1689, a Scottish convention dominated by William's supporters would follow in the footsteps of his English counterpart and declare William and Mary joint monarchs of Scotland. The attempt to then try and put James back onto the throne and, after his death, his son, James Francis Edward Stuart, the Old Pretender, that would become known as the Jacobite rebellions.